This incident occurred back in 2015 when I was 16 years old. All my friends had experienced sleeping paralysis, but to my very strong luck, I had to experience something even more horrific. It was a Friday night. Everything was closed tomorrow. No alarms to kill my sleep at 6 a.m. next morning. So I stay up till 2 a.m. and then I feel sleepy. So I sleep. But then I woke up at 4 a.m. hearing noises from the bathroom next to my room. I go to check and see a little kid playing in the tub. I just woke up. And yes, it was a dream. So I didn't pay much attention to it and went back to sleep again. And then something woke me up. This time I didn't know when I woke up. The child that I previously saw in the bathtub was now sitting on my chest with a candy on his hand, laughing. I was so scared that I couldn't breathe properly. The child gave a disturbing smile and distinctly said, "Trick or treat." I closed my eyes, and after 5 minutes I felt my chest getting lighter. I opened my eyes and saw that the kid was gone. I thought this must be a hallucination, but then I saw the candy on my bed. I couldn't think straight for a moment. If this really was a hallucination, then how did the candy get there?
A year over Halloween, I was visiting my cousins. We were all around the same age. Like any normal teenagers, we were bored and with nothing to do, we decided to go trick-or-treating. My cousins lived in this really old area. All the houses were well over 100 years old. The entire place looked something out of a horror movie. We knocked on a few doors. Everything was going good until my cousins dared me to go knock the house at the end of the street. Thinking nothing of it, I walked up to the house while they stayed behind. As I knocked on the door, it slowly opened, creaking noises and everything. It was really dark inside, with just a little light coming from one of the rooms further back in the house. I remember thinking these people had gone out of Halloween because this place was so creepy. I called out, but there was just silence. Beginning to feel really creeped out, I was just about to leave when I heard a woman's voice say, "Come on in." There was no way I was going in there, so I just waited, and then I heard her say again, "Come on in." And then something like, "We're here." I'm really scared now. I'm just standing there frozen because there was something about that voice and it was so dark in there. Then suddenly I heard a loud bang and what sounds like a heavy footsteps rushing towards me from the back of the house, and that's where I ran. My cousins were laughing at me, but when I told them about the creepy voice telling me to go inside, they stopped. Turns out the house had been abandoned for years and was known to be haunted. This happened when I was 7. My parents were out at a party and my babysitter offered me to take trick-or-treating. I was dressed as a witch. I remember my hat kept falling off, which was kind of running my evening. Anyway, we had already done my neighborhood and we'd walk over to the next set of houses a little way away. It was then I started to notice this person dressed in all black with a big hood and cloak. Everywhere we went, when I turned around, I could see him standing in the distance, but always with his head turned in our direction. It was creepy, but I didn't think too much about it. It was a kid, and I guess I just thought he was the parent of one of the other trick-or-treaters. After we knocked on the last house, my babysitter told me it was time to go home. To do that, we had to walk back through a little park to my neighborhood. It was already pretty dark. And there was no one around. We were playing Simon Says when my babysitter said, "Simon Says, walk faster," and then start running. So I started to run, which was when my hat fell off. I stopped to pick it up and when I saw the man in the cloak and the hood running behind us, to this day I still get chills when I picture him. First, I've never seen anyone run that fast. It was like his feet weren't touching the ground. But worse, under the hood he had no face, just a black shadow or hole where his face should have been. My babysitter just grabbed me and started to tear out there. It was the longest 2 minutes in my life. We made it out of the park and then back to my house. And when I looked back, he was gone, nowhere to be seen. The police were called, but nobody ever caught or anything. And we were told to stay out of the park for a while after. I know it was one of the most probably someone trying to get some sort of sick kicks from scaring people, especially on Halloween. But I just can't get the forget. But I just can't forget the darkness under his hood. I should have seen a face, but there was nothing there.